No more like, sub, share, speak at the beginning of the videos. It just weighs me down. It's a bit of a distraction. And if someone sticks through the entire video, then hey, then I think that the ask is a little bit more appropriate back there. So yeah, speaking of canceled, Trump cancels peace talks with Taliban over Kabul attack that killed U.S. soldier. This is coming to us from CNBC by the way of Reuters. So you know it's legit. And here are the key points. Trump said he had planned a secret meeting with the Taliban's major leaders on Sunday at a presidential compound in Camp David, Maryland. Trump said he also planned to meet with Afghanistan president. But Trump said he immediately called the talks off when the insurgents said they were behind an attack that killed an American soldier and 11 other people. Earlier this week, U.S. and Taliban negotiators struck a draft peace deal, which could lead to a drawdown in U.S. troops from America's longest war. This is a nice little force. Security forces stand guard after a massive suicide car bombing rocked Afghanistan capital Kabul's diplomatic enclave, which killed 10 people and left 30 others wounded on September 5th, 2019. So this happened a couple of days back. Man, Taliban, use your words. U.S. President Donald Trump on Saturday said he canceled peace talks with Afghans. Okay, that's the thing about these the key points. They just reiterate what's already in the article. Trump said he had planned a secret meeting in Camp David, but Trump said he immediately called the talks off when insurgents said they were behind the attack. If they cannot agree to a ceasefire during these very important peace talks and would even kill 12 innocent people, then they probably don't have the power to negotiate a meaningful agreement anyway, Trump said on Twitter. And God, how can you not respect the hell out of that? Right? I mean, deal is that what the president's trying to do here is called diplomacy. It's called statesmanship, I mean, because ultimately it's all a matter of chess. And by pulling this and by making it very public, like, look, you can't do this. You can't. You have to use your words, Taliban. like you have you have to what's the name? Like we can't sit here and let people be hurt and allow people to die needlessly when we're trying to come to some type of agreement to actually stop the bloodshed. It'd make absolutely no sense for them to carry it out. Taliban fighters, who now control more territory than at any time since 2001, launched a fresh assault on the northern cities of Kunduz and Pule Kurumi over the past week and carried out two major suicide bombings in the capital Kabul. Oh man, these these videos where I'm using words from the Middle East and over there. Ugh, tongue twisters. One of the blasts, a suicide attack in Kabul on Thursday, took the life of U.S. Army Sergeant First Class Ellis A. Barrito Ortez, 34, from Puerto Rico, bringing the number of American troops killed in Afghanistan this year to 16. A spike in attacks by Taliban insurgents in Afghanistan has been partially unhelpful to peace efforts there, a senior U.S. military commander said on Saturday as he visited neighboring Pakistan, where many Taliban militants are based. U.S. Marine General Kenneth McKenzie, who oversees American troops in the region, declined to comment on the diplomatic negotiations themselves. Earlier this year, U.S. and Taliban negotiators struck a draft peace deal which could lead to a drawdown in U.S. troops from America's longest war, but a wave of Taliban violence has cast a long shadow over the deal. So this is, if you want an equivalent, this is sort of like if you're trying to, let's say you and your boss are trying to negotiate a salary, yet every time, your boss comes to the table or you guys are at the table, you have a coworker that starts demanding a raise themselves that would essentially knock out like the amount of money that you want. And so thusly you have, basically opposing forces that your opposing forces, because they have that out there that are just crapping that are actively seeking to crap on any type of negotiations, because guess what, that doesn't benefit them or what they want to accomplish. So I think that's a pretty decent analogy. It could, yeah, I mean, I could have used worse. Yeah, I think that's pretty okay. It is particularly unhelpful at this moment in Afghanistan's history for the Taliban to ramp up violence, McKenzie, head of the U.S. Central Command, told reporters traveling with him. McKenzie said for the peace process to move forward, all parties should be committed to the eventual political settlement, which in turn should result in reduced violence. If we can't get that going in, then it is difficult to see the parties are going to be able to carry out the terms of the agreement, whatever they might or might not be, McKenzie said. So, from the sounds of it, you have different factions that want different things, and so they want the violence to continue. They don't want peace. Peace is antithetical to what they're trying to achieve. And there's another faction within them that is like, look, we much prefer to come to the table and negotiate. So, but the problem is that those who want to come to the table and negotiate can't get a good grip or get a good grasp on those who are out there committing the violence. It's sort of like another good analogy. I think this is actually pretty apt. Is President Trump and President Trump supporters. President Trump can sit there and say whatever he wants as far as, oh, I don't like, I'm like, I condemn, he actually not say whatever he wants. He has condemned white supremacy. He's condemned the violence. He's condemned all of the things that, the media would demand of him to condemn. Yet there are still those out there that would go out and commit these acts, and not even particularly in his name, just commit these acts in general. And you have a media here that's like, oh, well, Trump is permitting it. Trump is permitting it. Like, well, what the hell you want him to do? And that's literally the same thing that's taking place over there, where the negotiators are like, look, let's come to the table. Let's knock this out. But they have these other factions that are out there. And if we can't control them, then boom. But the major difference being is that we have elections here, and once someone is duly elected, then boom, you gotta wait until the next go round. Under the draft accord, thousands of U.S. troops would be withdrawn over the coming months in exchange for guarantees Afghanistan would not be used as a base for militant attacks on the United States and its allies. However, a full peace agreement to end more than 18 years of war would depend on subsequent intra-Afghan talks. The Taliban have rejected calls for a ceasefire and instead stepped up operations across the country. For Afghans, the Taliban's recent escalation of attacks have underscored fears it may be impossible to reach a stable settlement following any complete U.S. withdrawal. Many have worried about a fracture along ethnic and regional lines, with Persian-speaking Tajiks and Hazaras from the north and west against southern and eastern Pashtuns, the group that have supplied most of Afghanistan's rulers and where the Taliban draws most support. Memories of the 1990s civil war are vivid. Some Taliban are based in neighboring Pakistan, where McKenzie held talks on Saturday with a top Pakistani general. More talks are scheduled for Sunday. McKenzie said he did not know whether any of the planning for the recent wave of attacks in Afghanistan came from Pakistan-based militants, but McKenzie commended Pakistan for supporting the peace efforts in Afghanistan, in the latest sign of an improvement in long-fraught relations between Washington and Islamabad. So that's the end of the CNBC article. But I do want to, here's the thing. I criticize where criticisms deserved, praise where praise is deserved. Shout out to President Trump for shutting it down. Look, if you can't get your boys in line, then there's no real hope for a peace treaty regardless, So it is what it is. It's basically a waste of time. And I gotta say, I gotta rock with him on this one, because It's just a smart move. This is diplomacy. This is statesmanship. This is, democracy. This is true democracy and, in action, because that's the difference between those who are on the side of the living and those who are on the side of chaos. Like those in chaos, they just want to see it all burn. They don't care. They like those 12 people that were killed. They couldn't care less about those 12 people. Whereas those on the side of the living would like to see such senseless, well, not seemingly senseless, it makes sense to them, violence, as opposed to, watching people be hurt, innocent people who had nothing to do with any of the problems that you have be hurt. And so, real talk, kudos to President Trump for, taking a strong stance in this, because there's a lot of folks who would have sat there and tried to play the game regardless. Good on them. So, with that being said, we're going to bring this one to an end. All the internet stuff. If you liked it, toss it a like. Dislike, go ahead. Do that too. I ain't scared of you. Sub if you enjoy my fantastic voice and want to give videos like this every single day. Share, because sharing is caring. And YouTube, BitChute. They just don't see my vision, okay? they're just not there with it. But if you are, toss your boy a share, man. Get 10 friends to get 10 friends to get 10 friends. Get your boy over. Let's try to get me over K. I want to be over a K before the channel has been around for 6 months. I think that'd be a pretty good goal. Is it reachable? I'm not sure. And speak. Let me know, what do you think in the comments? Do you think that this is a bad move? Would you like to get out of Afghanistan and, end this war that's been going on since, like that war, it's been 18 years. That war is now, can vote, it can drive, it can join the military, it can do so. The war is an adult now, okay? Like, the war is a complete adult. Let me know what you think in the comments, and until the next one.